everybody, one of Wiisdom here. It is Sunday night, early Monday morning, Memorial Day, 5:29, 12:18. So what we're gonna do here, I was in the middle of Pinata, and as you should know by now, my biggest complaint with Skylanders Imaginators is whenever you fully upgrade a character, you need to reset them to take the other path. Getting the money is a grind, of course, but it's not too bad. What really irks me though, is that you have to go back and reacquire the Sky Chi. Sometimes, the Sky Chi Shrine is located towards the start of a level, sometimes it's almost at the very end of a level, and it's extremely annoying, and it's my least favorite thing they've ever done in the history of the franchise, aside from do away with standalone PvP. And it really, it's so off-putting to me that it makes me not want to play the game. It's that big of a deal to me personally. It makes no sense to me because if we were to take Mysticat here down the top path right now, and we had a Soul Gem and we had a Sky Chi, we reset him, I don't have to go back and reacquire the Soul Gem. You've never had to reacquire the Soul Gem. And it's a situation where you have to go back to the stupid Sensei Shrine, and I hate it. And I don't know, I don't know, like if the developers watch videos, I feel like mine would be the most articulate and technical out of what's currently produced by people by a considerable margin. And I appreciate many things they do, like the training grounds, but I absolutely despise having to go back and go through the Sky Chi. If there was like a shortcut from the menu, I mean, it's basically a cutscene. It's not like I even do anything. It's really probably what irks me the most. It's not like we get to go back and do something cool, or reacquire gems or unlockables. No, you just go and you watch a cutscene that you can see from the pause menu, and it blows my mind what the thought process was there. I don't know if like the test group of, like 4-year-olds that they always like to tout thought that was the coolest thing ever, having to go back and commit a grind fest anytime you reset a Skylander, or if people just didn't think it through, and it seems like the latter to me. But I would really, the way I like to do things is, we come in, we do base upgrades, we pick path 1, we pick path 2, and we always try to pick it out to where the best path that we think suits our playstyle is what we save for the end, so we don't have to reset the character again and get the money, and in the case of Imaginators, grind fest through to the Sky Chi. And so, Pinata, he's a smasher, and I think that one is in Sky High Fortress or somewhere, and I don't want to go there. It's not practical. If I can stack characters, and you can take like all of the smashers at once, it's okay. It's still completely impractical, but it's so bad that instead of me resetting him, getting money, taking him back to get a Sky Chi, and then coming back and showcasing the bottom path to you that I am hoping I like better, I'm throwing down Mysticat. So I will eventually complete Pinata, but it's a complete turn off from the game to me. It's kind of like in SSA, I went through, and we had the Weapon Master glitch. That was off-putting, but I enjoyed the game and I replayed it. It was ridiculous that it happens and it was an oversight. But this is just mind-boggling because, again, you do nothing. It's a cutscene. Why can you not just have, with other things, you would just repurchase them, I don't get it. I never will. No explanation will be acceptable to me. And I'll continue to gripe about it because I hope that it's never, ever done again in the history of this franchise. So we're going to do Mysticat. He is one of those characters that when you put down, and in our introduction, that's literally all we've done with him. One of the reasons he has not been upgraded yet is it was just a little overwhelming. And chain reaction, kind of the same thing. I was so excited about that guy. And then you come in, and you're kind of, I work a real job, of course, and you got to do this stuff late at night. And there's the dog barking. The people are still gone, if you wonder. They left Friday, I assume, when their kid got out of school, and they've not come back. And I get to listen to their dog bark all night. And I don't think it comes through the mic, but if it does, my apologies. I'm sure the dog is just trying to figure out where his owners are and why they haven't let him in the house over the last 3 days or whatever. But anyway, again, advantage cats. You know, they're a little bit more self-sufficient in my opinion, especially a domesticated dog. That's the thing. Some of those things, you know, you get them away from people and they don't know what to do. Cats, they're like, I never needed you anyway. You know, but anyway, Mysticat, Chain Reaction, a couple of other characters this cycle have just been like, ugh. You know, like, that's going to be a freaking nightmare to figure out. Mysticat, I didn't even document his base, like, box stock attack damage numbers. I hadn't even done. I did that right before this video. So, we're going to come in, knowing that, I would still, my thought process, I would rather deal with something difficult and hard to assess and document accurately than go in and do a pointless cutscene to get the frickin' Sky Chi power back. You know, it's just a piss poor setup. I don't know what the thought process was there. So, Laser Painter begins things for us. Basically, the way this works, from what I understand that I've just witnessed and analyzed, you press X and you shoot a laser beam. But there's a catch. There's a yarn ball at the end of this thing that's not even mentioned here. And that's usually a telltale sign something's going to be complicated or require a lot of effort on my end to figure out when it's an afterthought that the yarn ball's not mentioned. If the laser only pierces the enemy, it's 16 to 24. If the yarn ball hits the enemy, conveniently for us, it's also 16 to 24. So in theory, a single pulse from the staff will do 16 to 24 two times. So you've got a propensity for 32 to 48 cumulative damage, or some combination thereof. So, when we come in and you realize if you go XXX, which they do, luckily for us, mention here many times, that's what's left out. They would mention a yarn ball, and then they would never tell you that you had this, you know, auxiliary combo move. So, he kind of has a staff and we'll say the left paw and shoots, and then he switches to the right paw and shoots, and then he does this sort of like hybrid thing, and you'll see both paws sort of channel like a Street Fighter Aliukas type thing, and you get what they call the laser wave. All right, and popping back to my spreadsheet, the laser wave is 64 to 96. I've never seen the 96, but we assume that it's there eventually. So, whenever... This is the other thing, like, sorcerers have staffs, sentinels have staff-like things, smashers have smashy things. I was so bummed Pinata didn't have, like, a jump attack, and Mysticat doesn't either, per se. Like, he doesn't just jump up in the air and slam the staff down, which would have been so freaking cool. But he does at least shoot the laser and the yarn ball, so that's also 16 to 24. And then Paw Print, which is his secondary attack, you press B to throw your staff, and it creates a copycat that attacks with its own laser painter. So, here's what you need to know on that. If the staff hits an enemy, now you literally chuck your staff, and if you happen to hit a dummy or an enemy, it will do 37 to 56. Then the copycat is created. It's sort of like a throwback to Stealth Elf type of a thing, Trap Shadow if you want to go Magic Element. But the way this works is literally a duplicate of what you can do. So it lasts 12 seconds. The maximum number of hits I've ever been able to get Mysticat to do with Laser Painter via Copycat, which that's a bit overwhelming again to take in, is 4. I will also say, if you've ever had a cat or been around people with cats, you know, a lot of times you're like, hey, kitty, come here. And the cat just like looks at you, turns its head and goes away or goes to someone else type of a thing. They've successfully mimicked that with Paw Print here. You could have a horde of enemies surrounding you, and he might come in and, you know, do the first shot, and you're like, oh, this is great. You know, it's like there's 2 of me here working. And then he'll just run away and disappear, and then he'll show back up for a final shot. You know? So if it's something you're going to rely on, it's going to be pretty much like a real cat. You know, you might yell out for Lassie to go get the cops, and Lassie comes back with a police officer, you know, pulling its pant leg or something. And if you yell that at the cat, it's probably going to sit there, turn its head, walk off, and go sleep. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at here with paw print. And I suppose I should showcase this to you. So I've got 2 enemies here, so let's just do it this way. I chuck that. He took 37 damage. There was shot 1 from... Oh, there's shot 2 from our copycat. I'm doing nothing. That was shot 3. Perfect. We got all 4, and he times out. He literally, in my opinion, doesn't have time to do a 5th shot. So if he was running around over here like he has a propensity to do, not paying attention, 12 seconds, and then he times out. Or if he's fully functional and practical and cat of the century, he can attack 4 times. We do the exact same thing. So 16, let's get a new dummy in here. The laser is 16, and the yarn ball is sometimes 16. That's what's weird with it. So point blank, we can kind of push him back and get the 16 as well. Sometimes if it's done at a distance, you don't seem to get it. So again, cat-like, very much so. Now, if we 1, 2, 3 in rapid succession, you can see that's the laser wave, and it will push enemies away. So you can see him switch hands, and then he just sort of hovers the staff in between his paws, sort of a deal. So that's how that works. And the jump attack, there you go. I mean, it is what it is. In my opinion, if you were to jump and slam the staff down and, I don't know, have kitty litter rain from the sky, something, you know, would have been cool. But at least we do have the ability to jump and use the attack. If I jump and press B, okay, we can actually create the copycat. So a lot of times the copycat will go down there and never come back. So, hey. But I hope that makes sense to you. We got pretty lucky getting the copycat to hit 4 times. That is the max it can do. I'm tempted to come in here and just throw down the Sky Chi right now. Create a sensational yarn ball. And again, I've covered in detail the names of all these. They did a fantastic job with that, I will tell you. This is, of course, a throwback to Styx, Mr. Roboto. Covered that in detail, but got to give him credit where credit's due. Just as I complain about having to get the Sky Chi, I'll give them credit for things they do right. So, okay, we just have to, all right. You know what, let's save it since this is the base upgrade. So we're going to begin with base upgrade number 1. You can now have up to 2 copycats active at a time. You know what, let's try to spawn in 2 right now. So there's that one, and he instantly dissipated. Cool deal. So we've confirmed that you can't do that now. For 500, we're going to get Help Me Out. Props there. And of course, that right there opens up the Soul Gem. Konnichiwa. So, let's have our 2... Okay. Oh, my bad. Press the Nintendo button. And we've got the 2 copycats here. Looks like they will do the same damage, which is fantastic. So in theory, for the number of copycats we can have active, add +1 to your damage estimates, because we're technically the 3rd wheel here, or the 1st wheel in there, the 2nd and 3rd wheels. However you want to word that. Let's go ahead and kill him with the... Okay, there we go. He's a pretty cool character. It's just a little overwhelming at the first, so we'll see if we can't pull this off. Take it all in stride. So Help Me Out can have 2 copycats active at once. Fantastic. That's simple. I love it. Simple and effective, not denoting the damage because it's the exact same as it was. Up next, Disappearing Act. Cats are very good with this. This is our tertiary attack for 700. Press Y to leave a decoy. So we have copycats, and now we have decoys. You become invisible and run really fast. I like their emphasis on really there. Reappear with an explosion at your location and your decoy's location. So this is, again, kind of more akin, more in line with Stealth Elf and Trap Shadow. So what we're going to do is press Y. I want to do it down here so we can kind of see it. I suppose over here is the biggest camera angle. Oh yeah, we were very fast. Okay. So I guess we reappear before. I thought it would be a simultaneous thing. It threw me off. So Let's count how long the decoy is active.
Meow, you see me.
I love that guy. So 6 seconds the decoy is active. So, well, no. Okay, here's how we're going to do it. Spawn decoy. We go. We'll put we go invisible. There, that clock is kind of a nice touch, I have to say. 6 seconds. Reappear with an explosion. Let's log the explosion right now. So, I don't know if I would have time. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do this. I'm going to do this. So the decoy does not attack. 21. Oh, he didn't do damage to him. Really? $21. Ah, weird. Okay. So we explode 21, and then that would be to 32 on the critical side. Decoy remains. Granted, it seems like when we reappear, the dummy could care less about the decoy. Case in point. Boom. I think the decoy is there like another 6 seconds, right?
Take that!
Maybe 4. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. Yeah, 4 to 5 seconds. Decoy remains. 4 seconds. And it explodes. It has a similar animation, but I don't see any damage numbers associated with it. Or wait. Okay. Okay. Maybe us and the decoy both do 21. I'm gonna stand over here. Yeah, that's the case. Okay. So it's the decoy awkwardly sticks around for 4 seconds after it's exploded when we reappear after 6 seconds, and it's 21 to 32. So spawn a decoy, we go invisible 6 seconds, reappear with an explosion of 21 to 32, decoy remains 4 seconds. I think that'll work for you. We go invisible and move fast. 6 seconds. Reappear with an explosion 21 to 32. Near us and decoy. Yeah, so that's just going to be a massive entry in the spreadsheet, but everything's fine. So, obviously that's not going to be the best way. Now here's a question. While I'm in my invisible state, oh, I can. But wait, do I instantly reappear? Yep, I do. But I guess that means I can control. Alright, so I'm gonna go. Wait. Okay. Copycat, decoy. Does he decoy? No, he does not decoy.
Take that.
Alright, so copycat, timeout, buddy. Thank you. So now I am going to decoy. And then I'm going to press copycat and see if that brings me back to the real world.
Ah, power!
It does. So anytime I do that, it will happen. And then case in point here, when the clock strikes 0 or midnight, we both explode. That's when it's 21. Then he's got 4 seconds, and he just casually disappears with no damage. Anything else I want to check on that? I don't think so. Alright, so I think we logged that pretty well.
Most puzzling.
Alright, now our third base upgrade is going to be Cat's Familiar. Press X to create magical yarn balls that circle around you. Now this is interesting because you press X, right? And the problem I have is you press X here. And I'm hoping that now the yarn balls, instead of following the laser beam, just kind of orbit us. And the reason I say that, I really don't want to give up the laser attack from the staff. I kind of think it's cool, even though the damage isn't that huge. So press X to create magical yarn balls that circle around you. Okay, let's do it. 900. All right, we're gonna come down here so we can see it as best we can. Oh yeah. Okay, let's count the duration on these things. 3 seconds, basically. So, Cat's familiar. Create 2 yarn balls for 3 seconds that orbit you. And I assume they'll do damage, and I don't know if they'll detonate ahead of that or not. So, still 16 to 24. 8. Cool. 1, 2. How many hits can they get? 1, 2, 3. Cool. So they kind of have, the first hit is overlapping with the 16, and then they have a second comeback, and then their third is kind of when they explode. So create 2 yarn balls for 3 seconds that orbit you, and they do 8 to 12. Alright. Now let's spam that and see what we can do. Okay. I don't really think that changes anything, but it's pretty cool. Now here's the question. If I get a copycat and a dummy... Okay, he doesn't get the magical yarn balls, sadly. I've got to say, Mysticat is pretty overwhelming, but I feel like if you use everything together, he'll be a pretty salty cat, I will say. So let's stand at a distance, and we still get the yarn ball that does the 16 to 24, so that's actually a pretty cool upgrade, I have to say.
Behold,
Final base upgrade here. This has gone smoother than I thought it would, believe it or not. It took a lot of text in the spreadsheet, but I'm pretty happy with how well we've covered it here. Possum Painter. Your lasers hit an additional time. I don't know if that means like there's a number 4 hit or 16, 16, 16 type of a thing. So your lasers hit an additional time. Triple X shoots a wider laser spread. So let's pay attention. No enemies here, just at the laser spread. Okay. So basically, if I stand here, the laser spreads between this torch and Buzz, and there's literally no overlap between those two. So let's purchase it and see what we get now. So here we go. 1200. Let's do it. Boom, backing out. And 1, 2. Well, he's not pointing the right way. Dadgum. Okay, if I could get the exact same spot, that'd be great. Let me try. Okay, well, I realize we're not in the exact same location, but you get the idea, right? That was pretty much the same location. We're centered with the first shot, and then you can see we're basically sending one through Buzz's heart, and one pretty much on the outside edge of the torch. So, how many shots are there? Like 5 or 6, I guess, versus the 3, I think. So, let's see what we get here damage-wise. Oh, 74. I'll take it. Yeah, that's nice. So 74, half of that would be 37. So 74 and 37 is 111, correct? I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, Possum Painter. Shoot wider. Laser wave is what we'll call this. That's the technical term. At 74 to 111. So, I didn't see any other changes. It's so hard with the little orbital yarn balls. I love them, but 16. That was just 2 16s, right? That time the yarn ball didn't hit him. I think it's still like it was. So those are the base upgrades. That actually went again smoother than I thought it would. Took a little bit of figuring out, but again, this is a guy that if you come in and you create 2 copycats, you go invisible, you start running around letting them do stuff, and then you show up and start doing this, you're gonna decimate things pretty quickly, I feel. So the annoyance of having to go and get the Sky Chi for Pinata turned out to not be a terrible thing because we got to have a good time with Mysticat here, and he was requested. So there you go. I know it seems weird, but since as I've mentioned, I hate the Sky Chi setup in this game. I don't hate the Sky Chi, I just hate having to go back and get it when I reset a character that I've already acquired it for, and it requires no effort on my part aside from progressing through a level, and then we simply come in and watch a cutscene. Anyway, I think Cortex might be someone that will hit a base upgrades and a path with, and then I can take him and Mysticat, our two sorcerers that remain, essentially, and get two at once, because if you didn't know, the way I do the money trick, I use two characters at a time, because why not, right? That way, if you have a higher luck, you can increase your money. I mean, it's not a huge differential, but it does help a little bit. So, I'll probably do those two, and then... where is that? The sorcerers, I think, are in Scholarville. Is that where the Sentinels are as well? I think, are the Sentinels the one that are like at the very end of that level? I think that's right. If that's the case, we may very well throw Ember in here. She's another character that seemed a bit overwhelming when we first introduced her. So yeah, again, if things were like they were back in the day, I would do one character straight across the board, period. Worst case scenario, we would do, Terrafin and Bash, and then I'd come in and I'd reset them so I could get them money at the same time and showcase their other paths, sort of a setup. But it is what it is, so let's go ahead, check me out. I'm getting all four of these dummies in here while standing on top of the Switch. So let's now showcase the Sky Chi here to celebrate.
The cat's out of the bag.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is fantastic.
Cats all, folks.
I like those puns. So it looked like the yarn balls do shooting. Yarn balls 58 and then what, 87? So didn't see an 87, only saw 58s, but it eradicated those four guys really, really fast, in my opinion. So,
Most puzzling.
indeed. The weird thing about Mysticat, he's got the cat body, but then he's got two arms, and yet in the game, you mainly just see him like on two hind legs. Anyway, the other thing, he's got like a chick voice, He's a dude, according to the bio, but he sounds like a chick, so... nonetheless, suppose that's a cat thing, right? What I want to do here is actually learn what these path names are. So, we will click this. Alright, cool. I can finally know what these are. So, Paw, Urful, Painter, love that. And the bottom one, Meow You See Me. That sounds like a complete pain to figure out. Alright, so let's take a look at what they say though. Meow, 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 you see me is improve abilities for Disappearing Act and your copycats. Improving Disappearing Act, I guess if you just wanted to go like, because obviously if you could attack while you're invisible, I'd be all for that. But the downfall to that is when you attack, you lose your invisibility, essentially. Granted, you only have 6 seconds to begin with. I would assume the first upgrade here increases the duration, probably at least 12 seconds. I've been wrong about that before, though, and then I'm usually very disappointed. But if it increased that and let us attack, that would be amazing. And then the other thing is, it looks like you can have 3 copycats. And then obviously that works really well if you get 3 copycats and then go Disappearing Act. But the thing is, will they do more damage? Obviously, adding a third to copycats, you're going to continue to do that extra damage. This is probably the more unique of the upgrade paths, the more magical, if you will. Yet I'm kind of inclined to go this route because I love the yarn balls. I'm not even going to lie. So Powerful Painter improves damage to Laser Painter. Fabulous. That's all I could ask for, and 16 to 24 isn't much to begin with. and to your cat's familiars, which that's the yarn ball one, right? Let's back out of there. Yeah. So, you know, I'm kind of thinking we'll take this path first and we'll see how we like it. I think it's going to be pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. And having a third, clone is going to be copycat, if you will, is going to be a huge deal. But if this conjure 4 cats familiars, ooh, okay. Lasers are larger. Oh, yeah. Copycats when hit. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. Explosion. Oh, that would be a big one, too. Oh, hold Y. Can I do that now? Probably not. Huh. I don't know. I'm thinking, while this one is the more unique path, I think we'll take it first, reset, take the top path. I think I will like it better. And then we'll take it from there. The Soul Gem preview, conjure a rift that shoots homing projectiles and creates a copycat. Cool. So I think this guy's going to turn out to be pretty good. A little difficult to document and understand initially, but hey, I think as with all things, over time it turns out to be a worthwhile endeavor. So that said, we finally did Mysticat's base upgrades, and like I said, we might throw down Cortex next, for all I know, and kind of proceed through that direction. But nonetheless, let me know what you're thinking of Mysticat. More importantly, if you have already taken Mysticat through either the top or the bottom path, or better yet, both, which one did you prefer and why? If this is your first look at Mysticat, seeing what you saw here with the base upgrades, which path would you take and why would you take it? So, it's probably going to be pretty close. It's just a shame we can't know these numbers before we pick, but hey. We're going to go with the bottom path first, reset, take the top path, and I think I'll be pretty happy with it. I might miss this one, though, but I still feel like the way I play, this would be the better option. If you're having trouble in the game, though, I have to say, anytime you got a character that can go invisible and avoid being hit, while you simultaneously have 2 or 3 buddies, chomping away at all of the enemies that are constantly killing you, you're going to want to go with the bottom path. So, nonetheless, I'll showcase both of them, and we'll have a good time. I'm going to get this video rendered. It's a lot shorter than the others have been being, so that's good. But we'll get it rendered out. I'll have it uploaded. You should see it Memorial Day here in a few hours. So, keep in mind, Veterans Day honors all veterans. Memorial Day is technically to honor the veterans that have fallen in service. So if you had a grandparent in World War II or the Korean War or Vietnam or whatever it may be, and they died overseas in battle, that's kind of the difference. A lot of people kind of confuse the two. And of course, the main thing, though, is, in addition to paying respect to those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, we also come in and tend to just say, hey, we appreciate you guys that are currently serving, you that used to serve, and make the most of it. I mean, freedom is not free. People constantly seem to forget that. We worked pretty hard and lost a lot of people, and a lot of effort was exerted along the way to get to where we're at. And hopefully people don't take that for granted, and people don't throw it away with political correctness and just ascribe themselves to the fate of the Roman Empire, per se. So, nonetheless, hey, we've got a good time here ahead of us, and like I said, we may, just because of the way the game is laid out with the annoying Sky Chi, come in and do Cortex or whoever else. The reason I stopped on Buckshot is I was really, really, really hopeful we got Heartbreaker. And then, of course, like I told you, I was going to custom paint Heartbreaker Buckshot. Should I ever find him on sale? And I've never seen him when there's been a sale. So that's been sad as well. And yes, I haven't hit on it yet, but again today I had like 5 or 6 people. Hey, you got Tide Pool or Blastertron yet? Nope, I do not. And it sucks, but hey. The other thing that really sucks is, I guess, overseas, Europe and Australia, Lost Imaginite Minds and Robo supposed to be out. I haven't heard anybody say, like, yeah, check it out, I got it. I know people ordered it, and it should be coming to them soon. I have no idea when those are supposed to be released here, and I am pretty. You know what? I could hold out on Buckshot until we get Robo, and then we'd have two bowslingers that we could kind of take through. So maybe that's what we'll do. But I'm really sad. And then I threw Boom Bloom on because I was thinking I want to have her ready for the Enchanted Elven Forest. And then I realized, unlike some other characters who came out after the fact and already had their soul gems, she is just like our good friend Airstrike, and her soul gem is locked away in that level. So, yeah. Maybe we'll go and do a playthrough with old school life element characters in the Enchanted Elven Forest so we can get Boom Bloom soul gems so we can fully upgrade her. I don't know. Nonetheless, I hope everybody has a great Memorial Day weekend. Again, for the majority of people, I realize this may be different depending on where you live, but school is out. People have graduated. College is, done with a while back. Now, K through 12 is done here in America, typically for most people. I assume if you're still going and you're not in like a year-round format, you probably just have, like a week or two left if you're on some funky schedule where you get out in June, which is just a horrible schedule, I tell you. Anyway, hope everybody enjoys the kickoff. Memorial Day, kind of the unofficial kickoff to summer, always in my opinion. So I'll quit rambling, though. I hope everybody's had a great weekend and enjoys this. And one more thing I'll hit on here. I don't know if anybody will be listening, but I wanted to play Portal Knights, and I was hitting my nephew up about it a couple of weeks ago. This is before its console release, we would have been playing on PC, but I had someone actually, I think Joseph, if I remember correctly, I could pull it up, but someone requested like, hey, you should check out Portal Knights, man. And I found that interesting because that's something I was thinking of doing anyway. My thing is, I'd wanted to do it sort of maybe like we did Terraria, me, Black Pants, and Speedy. And I don't know, it was Justin Howell actually said that I should check it out. But if anyone has played that, or you haven't played it, or you're really interested in seeing it, let me know, because like I said, it's a game that did interest me, so much so that I tried to get my nephew to play it with me, like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, maybe the start of May, somewhere in there. And it was on sale at the time for like $12.99, so, it's kind of like their final woohoo. If you didn't realize, a lot of games come to PC first, and they're sort of like alpha releases where there's like a lot of problems, or they think there might be, or they're just far away from being released in a standalone 100% done type of a thing. And a lot of times you can get cheaper prices on the game, so PC Master Race type thing there. But like I said, that is something that I had considered, and I thought it was kind of pitched as like a multiplayer game, but I guess I could do it solo, but if you've got an interest in that, let me know, because it is something I might like to do. But anyway, I'll quit rambling. Thanks so much for watching. Big thanks to Mysticat for not being as complicated as I thought he'd be. And I'll end this. We'll be back in taking a look at his upgrade paths here, and then we'll economize our horrible time of having to go back and do Sky Chi again. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. SkylanderClub.com. Be sure to vote in the polls. Wiisdom.com is my website. You can make sure to follow me on Twitter. I will always tweet before I go live. I will probably only be streaming on YouTube or Mixer moving forward. Not a big fan of some things they're doing over at Twitch. And the fact that it's been 6 years and they only have box art for Skylanders Giants out of the entire Skylanders franchise is also a little disturbing. So, nonetheless, hey, I will try to tweet before I go live. And if you're subscribed on YouTube, you should be notified anyway. But stay tuned. We'll have a good time. And again, hope everyone's enjoying Memorial Day. Had a great weekend, and hope everyone has a great start to their summer. So stay tuned. I'll catch you back here later.